output of the industries produce large amount of substances which are thrown out. It exceeds the biological capacity of the aquatic system. Whenever any waste is thrown into the water automatically tries to balance it and makes it less harmful. But if the speed of adding pollution is more than the natural ecosystem is not able to balance it, it makes the toxic substance collect in the water. And it is said that these are produced in the excess. So whenever in the aquatic system the water becomes choked with the excess of the organic substance and organisms which are poisoned, when they die, when these plants or animals die in the water, they remain as a dead substance in the water, and the dead algae they add to the organic waste already in the water. The heat given out by thermal power plants, the thermal power plants, when they use the hot water for boiling and then they throw the hot water into the water river, so it causes water pollution. What is the impact of water pollution? The impact of water pollution is caused by industries. Rivers and lakes are polluted on a large scale by the pollutants given out by the industries. These industries give out waste which is thrown into the river and makes the water polluted. One important factor which leads to water pollution is the eutrophication. Eutrophication is the gradual increase in the concentration of phosphorus, nitrogen, and plant nutrients in the water. So from where will these nutrients enter the water? When the chemicals like fertilizers are used by farmers in the field, and these chemicals remain in the water, in the soil. So what happens when there is a rain or the water given to the plant, then these chemicals dissolve in the water and these chemicals enter the river water, and therefore the river water gets affected with this. The ecosystem, these chemicals enter the ecosystem primarily by runoff from the land. So therefore the plants which are growing in the water, they start growing faster. When these grow faster, then the algae or the green algae which is growing in the water, it takes this nourishment from the water, and therefore sometimes you must have seen that the ponds become turned green in color. This makes, when the algae grows, it will die sometime. When this algae dies, that and they settle in the water, it increases the high amount of algae in the water, and when these algae die, they are decomposed by bacteria, and therefore the amount of oxygen in the water die, that is eutrophication. Another technical word is cultural eutrophication. Cultural eutrophication occurs when the man spreads up the aging process by allowing excessive amount of nutrients like sewage, detergent and fertilizers to enter the ecosystem. That is cultural eutrophication. Next is blooms. Bloom is related to the algae only. Great concentration of algae and microscopic organisms, they collect in the water. Then thermal pollution. Thermal pollution is a large amount of heat which kills the animals living in the water. Then agrochemicals is another pollution. All the farmers use fertilizers. When these fertilizers are given in the plants, then some of the chemicals dissolve in the water, and from the water they enter the river, which causes agrochemical pollution. Then another aspect of the pollution is many disease causing insects and animals which have affected human health are the same time they have also destroyed many useful plants and organisms in the water also. Control and prevention. How can the water pollution be controlled? When small amount of sewage are discharged into the flowing water, a natural process of the ecosystem takes up and it cleans the water when a small amount of sewage is thrown. But when this throwing of waste is increased due to the densely populated areas, where the population will increase, then more sewage will be thrown into the water. This will make the natural process of cleaning slow. So it is necessary to treat, and if because we can't collect the waste in a place, so before you throw it into any water place or any area, it should be made less harmful. It will help to remove degradable and non-degradable pollution in the water. Many scientific systems have been developed with the help of engineering like filter beds, oxidation ponds, wastewater plants, so that the waste which is thrown into the water, it is controlled. An aquatic weed called water hyacinth is a useful discovery. It is a plant which is a waste for the in the water, but this plant helps in purifying the water contaminated by domestic waste. It is a very good absorbent and absorbs large amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and makes the water clean. One of the law enacted by the government of India has also proved to be beneficial. It is the Prevention and Control of Water Pollution Act, applied in 1974. It gave measures which have to be adopted by every state under the law. It was used to control the pollution of the water, and the measures were: sewage and industrial waste must be properly disposed before throwing it into the water. If any such thing is found to be, any state is found not to be using this, then they will get proper punishment. So the laws are there in India, but they are not enforced properly. The water polluted from metals like cyanides can be purified by releasing a large number of bacteria in the rotating disc of the plant. Bacteria use mostly, they are bacteria which can be they are useful also. So bacteria are used because they are the only organisms that can withstand high concentration of cyanide, which is either a poison, which is otherwise a poison for the humans. So these bacteria, the cyanide will be absorbed by the bacteria, and the left water is then passed with the, so the water is can be made purified by this method. Rivers like Ganga, due to the increasing population of the city, they have become more polluted, and the government has undertaken very step. The recent step is the Namami Gange, where the water of the river Ganga has been, and the government is trying to clean it so that the water is less harmful and it becomes mostly clean for the human consumption.